Okay, if I can have your attention, please. Jimmie Johnson has joined us. He's our 5-time NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion. Won a lot of races here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is a great track for Jimmie. Won last week the Sprint All-Star race. Won the week before at Darlington. He's driving the number 48 Lowe's Patriotic Chevrolet. Jimmie, just talk about, look like that you got that little roll going right here, and you're right here in your wheelhouse at Charlotte. So talk about that.
Yeah, we're really pleased, obviously, with where our cars are right now. I have been sitting up here telling all of you that we're close and it's coming, and look at the laps led and all that stuff. So I'm glad to be able to back up what I've been talking about over these last few months. It really just boils down to the hard work that's come through the engine shop, chassis shop, our engineering staff, the crew chiefs. We have a better product this year, and we've been able to be close to victory lane a few times so far this year, and then we got it done the last 2 weeks. Obviously, winning during the All-Star race is very helpful. Gives us a great starting point to come back with, and we're excited to get on the track today and through the course of the weekend, and feel like we'll be a threat for the win.
Take questions now for Jimmie. Let's go with Tom and then Pete, and then Jay.
Hey, Jimmie, Tom Jensen, Speed.com. Congratulations on your success the past couple weeks. Is it really as simple as just having the cars right? Because, I mean, you weren't a better driver this year, presumably, than you were last year, or not a great deal, and the performance is way up, and it seems like there's a lot of guys who go on these little hot streaks now the last couple years. Is it just having the cars right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the car is such a big part of it, but the process and how you get there is the tough part. Without data on a regular basis, it really boils down to the sensations the driver feels, how he communicates those to his crew chief and engineers, and then what adjustments they do from there. And it's tough because at times, certain drivers are very specific about what needs to be changed. Other guys are more open-minded and just talk about the sensations and let the crew chief adjust. Either way, someone has to make a decision, and it's easy to take the team down the wrong road. Other times you go down the right road and things work, and you find a little sweet spot that you can knock off some wins, and that's where we are. We've had a very solid product, but over the last couple of weeks we've been able to communicate exactly how we needed to make the car, the fastest car on the track, and then you still have to execute pit stops and strategy and drive the car and all that, but the process through practice, qualifying, and even the first half of the race or 2/3 of the race, it's all very critical to set up for the win, and it really boils down to communication to get the car right.
Let's go Pete and then to Jay. Go ahead, Pete.
Jimmie, Pete Yakabelli with the Associated Press. Is there a big difference now in the attitude around the shop, or because of the success, and has that kind of maybe propelled the team to work even harder as you see what's out there?
Yeah, in the 48-88 shop, there's a lot of excitement. Junior won a couple times the other night than the wins we've had. There's excitement in the 524 shop, but those guys have had some terrible luck. So we're as a group, just hopeful that luck will leave them alone. They'll be able to finish where they deserve and where they've been running in these races. But the company is still on a high from the 200th win. The All-Star win just kicked that up another notch, and I'd expect all 4 cars to be real strong.
Let's go Jay, Viv, and then Joe. Go ahead.
Jay Pennell with Athlon Sports over here. Looking back, kind of taking stock in the year, this is kind of like a transition point into the summer months. How significant was the fact that you guys were able to win that appeal or that early penalty? Or was it just business as usual leading up to that point? Or, it seems like you guys never really missed a beat, but had you not won that appeal, you would have had a lot more to overcome. So how much did that play into where you're sitting right now?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I kind of forgot about it. It without a doubt would have been a team. We have a lot of depth in our organization, and I feel like we would still be going down the right road and advancing our cars. And it's really tough to say if it would have led to the last 2 weeks or not, but no doubt losing your crew chief and in that situation even the car chief, those are very, very important positions in the race team, and it would have had an impact.
Viv, Joe, and then David Newton. Go ahead, Viv.
Hey, Viv Bernstein, New York Times. I don't know, over here? There you go. You have to, like, look down a little bit. I don't know if you pay attention to advertising. If you look at the ads in the paper, you look at the ads on the websites, Danica Patrick has been featured quite a bit. I'm wondering if in some ways she's sort of becoming the face of NASCAR, and if other drivers are okay with that?
No, I haven't noticed. Watching the television broadcast, they obviously pay a lot of attention to where she's on the track. And what I've learned through the years in the sport, those cameras focus where everybody wants to see, where the majority wants to see, where the eyeballs are paying attention and focus. So there's a reason for it. And, I don't have any feelings one way or the other. I mean, it's all marketing. It's all part of our sport. I'm glad she's here in NASCAR with us. I think she brings in a huge fan base and hopefully a new fan base for our sport. But, marketing's marketing. You got to do what you got to do.
Let's go Joe, David, and then Reed, and then we'll have to excuse Jimmy to get Dale up here. But if you need something, maybe you could catch him on the walkout. Joe, David, Reed, go ahead.
Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. Obviously, you won the All-Star race in pretty dominating fashion after sandbagging. Just kidding. But
sandbagging, we're just playing by the rules.
I know. It was just a joke. How much can you actually take from the All-Star race and apply to the 600? Is that just kind of apples and oranges or not? I mean, what can you take from that race that you can use in this one?
You can take a lot. We had a good practice session, very similar time of the day. We made a qualifying session, qualifying runs. Granted, we had a pit stop and an extra lap, but everybody pays close attention to that first lap out, and our qualifying setup for this weekend is built off of that. Then the race going into night, trying to pay attention to the track and where it's going. From our standpoint, the way we finished the race was awfully fast. We'd be foolish to start any different. So for us, it's kind of predictable in why and what we would do. But we've been here other times where we've been off and maybe use the All-Star as a testing ground and then come back here with new ideas or old proven equipment or, hey, the new stuff worked, let's try it. So last weekend is very important. It's not often that we get to go test, and the All-Star, in a sense, is a test bed for a lot of reasons, a lot of teams.
David and then Reed. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, Jimmy, David Newton, ESPN.com. You've seen Rick's on a lot of highs over the years. The last few weeks, with what you've done, winning the 200, the All-Star race, the showdown, everything, playing with Brad Paisley, I guess, the other night, it's like the pressure of the world off of him now, or does he still feel that intensity to kind of get all four of you guys in the chase?
No, his intensity's there. I'm really proud of him to sit and enjoy the 200th win and savor it and spend some time in the moment. It's not like him to do that type of thing. And as a company, we were all so proud to be there on Monday night, Tuesday night that we had Brad Paisley playing. Rick had a great time on stage, and it was just a cool night. This week, though, we're back to business, and that high will linger, but Rick is Rick, and he'll be focused on winning more races and trying to win a championship. His first goal is to get all four cars in the chase and then go for the championship, and I'm sure we'll be reminded of that here before long.
Final question, Reed. Go ahead, please.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Jimmy, is it fair to say that if you could have turned it around in time, you would have used the All-Star car this week? And just in layman's terms, what is it that makes it absolutely impossible to duplicate a car from one week to the next when you're trying to build them? I mean, what makes one of them? What is it specifically that gives each car its different character, and why is one a bullet and another a dump truck when you're trying to build them exactly the same way?
Yeah, we talked about trying to bring the car back. When we selected our cars, we felt like the car for the 600 was better, and it's more important being a points race. So it's not like we have bad cars, but the way we measure things in the wind tunnel and other variables, we saved the best car for the 600 and took the other car in the All-Star race. But you'll spend sometimes your first run, maybe even second run, trying to get your ride height set just right and the packer gaps right so that the splitter drags and doesn't drag and all that kind of thing. So bringing a car back that you raced, you know right where those heights are, and you can save a step or two. So that's kind of a nice thing, and it's hard to not bring back a car you just won with. But with the short time frame and checking in today and getting the car back on Tuesday afternoon just wasn't possible. But as far as cars go, I mean, they're all hand-built, and people take for granted the heat that goes into the chassis itself through welding. And, you know, there's some cars that I think what's largely part of it is, you know, you'll put all the pickup points to the exact same spot, but what goes on through the chassis and tubes being moved around, you know, the slightest of you know, measurements, it just changes the stiffness of the chassis. And then the heat pulling and twisting tubes, it puts tension in those tubes and just creates different strains through the center section of the car and then out through the front and rear clip. And it's just tough to get them exactly the same. As hard as you try, there's still always some cars that respond better, work better, easier to even set up on the scale pads. They just respond to adjustments easier. And we'll find those even through the seat of the car and hang on to those cars for a long time.
Jimmie, thank you, and good luck this weekend.